Hi, and welcome to my review of The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. You can't really see that, can you? The Name of the Wind is an epic fantasy novel set in the land of Tamarant. Coat is an innkeeper who has gone into hiding. It is quickly revealed that he is the legendary Quoth. It is implied early on that Quoth is an extremely famous figure, one who has accomplished many near impossible feats, so much so that many people in the land believe him to be just a myth. Quoth is tracked down by a man named Chronicler, a writer who wants to be the first to write down Quoth's story. At first, Quoth is reluctant, but eventually he relents and agrees to tell his story to Chronicler over the period of 3 days. And that is where The Name of the Wind really begins. Well, I say that, but in terms of story, there actually isn't much to it. It's very basic. A smart boy who is mentored and taught science that's actually magic, and then goes to science school, actually magic school. There he makes friends, enemies, and struggles to pay his uni debts. There is an overarching story, but to talk about it would be venturing probably too close to spoiler territory, so I'll let you discover that for yourself. But the overarching story doesn't play a big part in this novel. It's more about Quoth and his time at the university. It's the kind of story that sounds boring, and if I'd been told the premise beforehand, I probably wouldn't have even started reading it. And if I was a publisher or agent hearing the pitch to this story, there's no way that I would have published it. It's not till you actually commit to reading this that you realize how great the story is, even if it is basic or almost non-existent. The characters are round characters, not that kind of round. They feel real and relevant to the story. They all have their own personalities, quirks, secrets, things that make them distinguishable from other characters in the story. In my opinion, it's a sure sign that the author's done a bad job creating the characters when you read a story and you have a hard time distinguishing one character from another. And believe me, it's happened in some stories that I've read. But that definitely doesn't happen here. Well, it might happen a small amount, but usually it's only with the background characters. All of the main characters, or even the characters that are only in there for a small amount of time, are unique and well thought out. The world. This has to be one of my favourite things about the novel. The world is built to the brim. There's so much detail. It's so clear that Rothfuss has thought about everything when it comes to this world. From currencies to culture, languages, dialect, and even myths and legends within the world itself. I've always thought there's no way any writer could rival Tolkien's Middle-earth when it comes to world building. And it's true, Name of the Wind isn't up there with Middle-earth, but it's probably the next closest thing. Unfortunately, this book isn't all good, but rest assured that the flaws in this novel won't take away from the great experience you'll have reading it. This book could have been shorter. It's about 250,000 words, roughly 500 or 600 pages. Actually, 659 in my copy. And there are times when the story drags a little bit. Sometimes it drags for a good reason. Character development, tension. But there are times when the story drags for no reason at all. It doesn't happen often. Most of the time, you'll be caught up in the thrill of the book. And it does take a bit to get into as well. I think the story really only picked up at about 70 or 80 pages in. But when it picks up, it really does pick up. This book really is worth reading, especially if you're a fan of fantasy, or even if you just want a good book to read. This one is one of my favorites. I hope you enjoyed this review. Let me know in the comment section if you agreed with this or not. And subscribe for more videos like this in the future. Bye for now.